One, two, three. Let's get it. Let's get it. Welcome back, guys. Episode 25, Real Fans Podcast. It's been a little bit, about 2 weeks since our last episode. Just a few updates for y'all. We got a couple videos on our Instagram. Got a few more posts. We'd appreciate any interactions there, views, likes, shares. Let's get it.
We're out here sharing our knowledge,
sharing our info out here. My little co-host.
Gabe sees the numbers, man. Gabe sees the numbers.
We got Gabe. Welcome back, fellas.
We're back at it again.
Got a lot to talk about.
Yeah. So we're going to run down a lot of stuff. We're going to finish up with the NBA Finals because we didn't series wasn't over yet. We'll talk about NFL, some NFL news, baseball, college football, and then we'll finish on the Olympics. But first, I want to just bring up the NBA Finals. Obviously, it's been named. It's been 4
Oh man, I'm just glad I ain't put any money down for this series.
Yeah. Yo, it was crazy, man. The finals have been pretty crazy. Obviously, Milwaukee Bucks won. They already had their parade last week, a few days ago. So I just want to get your kind of final thoughts on the end of the season because I was call me out. I mean, I called the Suns in 6. Just based on those first 2 games, I was like, man, I don't see anything that the Bucks are showing me, any improvement or any change or any chance of like winning. So I gave them 2 games. I had Suns in 6, and I was proven wrong. So just kind of Jojo, what's your kind of thoughts on the NBA Finals and how that series?
And listen, we all called Suns in 6. I call Suns in 6. And listen, I'm not disappointed in who ended up winning. Yo, congrats to the Bucks and Giannis for winning Finals MVP. And it's crazy because I know everyone always celebrates too early, especially in this playoff run against the Bucks, right? They went down 2-0, and something in my gut was like, bro, once they go home, they're totally different. They're a different squad. And honestly, the Suns, they didn't play terrible, but their fire ran out. Like literally and figuratively, like that's it. Their spark after those first 2 games. And when the Bucks tied it 2-2 with those 2 games back at home, and then winning game 5 on the road, even though I called Suns in 6 because I had hope, but that series was over, man. He took the life out of them. D-Book dropped 40 in a loss in a game at home in game 5, and everything else that went on that game, like that's it. They had the momentum, and you think Giannis is the closest he's been to a title? Seal the deal, drop a 50-piece on their head, and said, "Give me that trophy." Ridiculous, and I'm happy for him. That's insane. Like his performance there, he earned it. 16 for 17 free throws? Come on, man.
Yeah, I looked like I said Suns in 5. I thought for sure they're gonna. I thought they're gonna sweep the floor. I thought the Bucks might get one out. I really did not expect that. That threw me for a loop. But you know what, man? Giannis, it seems like every time he comes up clutch, though. It just seems like every time when you need him to perform, he shows up for the most part. And yeah, man, dropping 50 to win the championship, like that's big money right there. I mean, only a handful of people have ever done that, to drop that many points to close out a finals. Like it's extremely impressive. And to me, I think he solidifies as like the best player on the planet right now. I don't think there's anybody better. Like, and especially to come up at that, like in that situation to do what he did, like, and he's done it. How many points did he drop this entire playoffs? If you look at his performance as a whole throughout the playoffs, I mean, he's been playing lights out. I mean, and then also I think that final game, Drew Holiday, I noticed in particular, really stepped up in the. And it seemed like a lot of the support, even though he dropped 50, a lot of supporting cast really showed up.
Everyone. Chris Middleton, it's all about, sometimes it's not about the stat sheet, like what you do. It's about when it's done, all timely stuff, right? Timely jump shots, timely assists, timely offensive rebounds, all throughout the game. And your boy Chris Middleton was doing just that, bro. Yeah. His mid-range game, every time they needed a shot for the lead, he got it. Those last 2 games.
And in a way, I think what people are not talking about either, I mean, he did it too without, like, don't get me wrong, like the Bucks have a solid team, but like it wasn't like they had a powerhouse big 3 filled with superstars. Like,
facts. I mean, the real big acquisition they got was Drew Holiday in the offseason. But exactly, I'm agreeing. And they didn't do it, recruiting and putting an all-star caliber team. Obviously, he was drafted there, and they got a piece they needed from getting swept from the previous season. And then look what happened. You know what I mean?
Kind of proves that you don't need the big three. I mean, obviously it helps, but
obviously it depends because the Dallas Mavericks have done it, in the past, right? They were the last team to kind of win without like a superstar team, which
they in the past 10 years, the past like 10 years, I would say.
Yeah. But where was I going with that? Well, but you got a once in a generation talent in Giannis, and he's improved tremendously every single season since he's been in the league, which is ridiculous. This guy has back-to-back MVPs, Defensive Player of the Year. Now he has a Finals MVP and a championship the year after, which is insane.
What's next for this guy? Gabe is shaking his head when I said Giannis is the best player in the world. If he's not, then who is?
You already know the answer. You already know the answer to that.
Here's my criticism, because let me just summarize the series overall, and then I'll get to my criticism. So, like I said, overall surprised. I kind of expected them to come back. When you talk about Game 3, they're playing that home game, whatever those two games came back. I kind of expected them to play hard and to have a better game. From the compared to the first two games. One thing I did see that I did notice in the entire series is like they were pretty evenly matched. Like if you watch the first half, besides the blowout, because when they got blowed out, it wasn't close at all. But most of the games they were pretty much close, like in the first half. And what I noticed is like the Suns, Miami Heat notoriously have what they call the third quarter, where they just come out from the half and they're just like nothing's going. And they don't have the ball isn't going in as much. So it was pretty even to then. And then the third quarter they'll have the separation, but the Suns never really had the firepower to come back. We talk about Booker putting up the 40 points. It's like, yeah, he did have a good game, individual game, but like, did he elevate his team? One of the things going into the series was I was like, if the Suns are on fire, they're shooting on fire, they're shooting threes, passing the ball movement. There's no way that they can win, and that's what I kind of expected. Like I expected a continuation of the first two games. But to get to your point, Julian, about why I was shaking my head when you said Julian, here's my thing: is like, at the end of those games, maybe not the last game, not the last like maybe two or the last game when he won. But they were hiding Giannis, and it's like, how many times in the NBA does that happen? Where you have a multiple time and Defensive Player of the Year, MVP of the league, a couple years. What is it, like third time now, or how many does it have, JoJo? I can't remember. I know it's more than one.
He has 2 MVPs.
Oh, 2 MVPs.
Yeah.
Right. And like, how many times is a NBA MVP like hiding at the end of games? You know what I mean? And we talk about him closing games with, when it's like late in games, he's passed, or he's the one tossing out the ball. Not a toss out. What do you call? Can't even fucking speak English.
Inbounding the ball.
Inbounding the ball. He's the one inbounding the ball because they don't want him on the court because at the end of games when it's close, when they're doing ticky-tacky fouls, they don't want him on the free throw line. It's like, well, how many MVPs has that happened to in the history of the league? So when you say, oh, it solidifies his status as a legend. I always thought he was good, and like this was his league. Like he's the next generation. He's this post LeBron generation. Physically he kind of looks like LeBron, like he's strong, and agile, and so he's gonna be the next coming of whatever after LeBron retires. But I there's still like stuff to critique about the team. Again, shout out to the Bucks because they played well. Drew Holiday was a big pickup for them. One of the things they say when you talk about JoJo, things that you don't see on the ball, it's like how Drew Holiday's his defense, like he closes in, he doesn't give shooter space, and how he closes gaps whenever he's on ball when he's defending. So and it's kind of crazy to think that they were just a Drew Holiday away because they got gentlemen swept by the Miami Heat the year before, and then now they come the next year, they sweep the Miami Heat, and then they go through the East. So it's kind of crazy to think that they were just a Drew Holiday away. And I'm kind of if I'm a Bucks fan, I'm excited to see DiVincenzo come back because he was he's one of these scrappy shooters, from the 3-point line that he just runs around and does some pop shots and can add to their team. So if I'm a Bucks fan, I'm pretty happy. Obviously, I won the championship, and I'm pretty excited for next year because y'all got Giannis. Giannis signed that extension, and he's going to be around for a while. This is his league. While I do think he's one of the best players in the game, and this is his league coming up because everybody's going to be coming for Giannis. We're talking about whatever. We're talking about great Kevin Durant. the LeBrons, the people after them is going to be, the giants like Joel Embiid and like Giannis Antetokounmpo. So shout out to the Bucks. It's just like I said, it's kind of weird that he can't close. You know what I mean? How you a league MVP and you can't close games? Like that's not really. When I think of like killers, you know what I mean? Like I'm thinking like Kevin Durant, Damian Lillard, somebody put their ball in the hand at the end of games and they're gonna close a game. Like you know what I mean? That's kind of like my only critique of this season. Besides the last game, he did fucking.
Yeah, I was gonna say aside from the last game, which got everyone to change their mind a little bit. That was like the seal of the deal.
That's the thing.
Yeah, that was.
All I hear is Gabe dodging the question. I said, who is better than him right now in the world? Like
at basketball?
A serious question?
No, a baseball. Like
in baseball? Yeah. Babe Ruth is better. A throwback joke. Just a reference joke. Man, better? It's just he's the top tier. He's an elite player.
Gabe's dodging. I'm
not. Listen.
He's not answering.
What do I say? I'd rather have on my team end of games. KD. That's an easy one. I'd rather have.
So you think KD is the best player in the world?
Who do I want at the end of games in the finals? Would I rather
I'm
have
asking who is the best player in the world, Gabe? Who's the best player? You rather have KD.
I want KD on my team.
So you think KD is the best player in the world, better than Giannis?
Right now. As of today, July 2021. Right now, yes.
That took a long time to get that answer.
You already know what I'm going to answer, so I don't even have to say it. You already know my answer.
I'm be honest, I think it's between Giannis and AD as the best players in the league.
Oh, AD too. I forget about him because
I'm in between those two guys, which are two big men, which is hybrid big men.
So shout out to the Bucks. That's it for Bucks talk. We're done with NBA talk. Moving on, we're going to talk about a little bit about NFL, even though we're coming up in the fall.
Today is actually the start of training camp. Today,
training camp.
I know Julian's been waiting for this day since the last game, since the Super Bowl.
Let me ask you these guys, because I've been seeing this question put up all around. Like, what do you think the start of the NFL season is? When training camp starts, when the first game starts, or when preseason starts?
Week 1.
Okay, I'm with you. Everybody's like training camp. I don't like training camp's not the start of it. Like
it's about the stats. They don't play. They'll play the first drive. The starters play the first drive, and then there's a bunch of scrubs that play afterwards. Because
some people were saying like today is the start of the league because it's training camp. And I was like, no, it's not. I always say they don't start until it's on a Sunday and we playing. Like,
I mean, that's like baseball when it's like because the people first people pitchers and catchers day. So that wouldn't start. I mean, I guess. But I mean, that's not what I start watching. Like, I start watching week 1. Like, I'm not gonna watch any preseason games. Like,
bro, actually, I've been wanting to check out that new. I wanted to check out maybe like the Dolphins training camp practice, but all those tickets sold out like the day of they announced it because of the new facility.
That Where did they practice? They're at the Hard Rock.
No, not anymore. They just built a brand new training facility right next to the stadium. It's like connected to the stadium. And so, all the tickets just sold out for the training house because I wanted to actually check it out. I'm not a Dolphins fan, but I was like, I'd be down to go to see Tua play.
Yeah, that would have been dope. That would have been
dope. But all the tickets sold out. I think the only thing available was like a Wednesday morning. So, but all the Sunday ones sold out immediately. And I was like, I know Gabe's not going to be able to go except if it's on a weekend. But those Saturday ones sold out quick. But it's sick. Yeah, look it up online. Yeah. Look, the training facility is fucking awesome. It's sick.
One of the newer things they added was the NSU, the covered field. Because I used to go out there when I was a kid. I went to that with my uncle. My uncle was a season ticket holder. But we would go out there, and then it's like July, so it's just like 112 degrees out there. So I mean, it's cool to go, but it's not fun at all. I mean, maybe you see the players, but
I used to love it.
That's personal with the players. That's more, you're more likely to get an autograph or something.
No,
that's wave at you or
that's when you go. There. I used to go as a kid with my dad to the Jaguar ones. My friend's actually going to that. He said they're all sold out too. Like they're impossible to get.
You know why? Because your boy's going to be out there.
Everybody's out there.
Your boy.
And as far as the Dolphins, I know they have a covered. They have a one that's covered now. So
that's what the new one is.
New addition.
Yeah,
the new it's covered. Yeah. So
that whole,
I guess if it's covered,
they redid that whole thing. Yeah, they redid that. I don't know where exactly it is, but it's somewhere over, and they added all kinds of shit. Right next
speaking of the Dolphins, anyways, we just want to bring up real quick because there's going to be lots of transactions going on until the week 1. Xavien Howard was one of their top veteran cornerbacks. He showed up to training camp, but he asked to be traded, right? He's asking for
completely random out of the middle, like late last night. Oh God, he released a statement saying that like basically he feels that the undervalued by the Dolphins, that they don't respect him and all this stuff. And then he said that he's going to continue to go to training camp, but just so everybody knows that I have formally requested a trade from the Dolphins. And then other stuff came out that's saying the Dolphins were trying to trade him earlier in this offseason to Arizona, where they were going to trade him for Chandler Jones. But that looks like that's out of the window. And it just seems like it just came completely out of the blue. So, Gabe, do you think – I actually looked – I don't know how much you know about, like, how much he was making and, like, what he said. Because he said specifically that he said – because he – as backstory for JoJo, like, Xavien Howard is – him and Jalen Ramsey are the best corners in the game. People are projecting that he's probably going to be the best corner this season. And he signed a contract 2 years ago, and he's looking at that contract now, and he feels like he's not getting paid what he is rightfully due. And I think there's a lot of factors that go into that. And he's actually the second highest paid corner on the team, which
he wants to be wow.
And actually the highest paid corner on the team, he's a solid cornerback. He's definitely top 15, top 10 corner, maybe not top 10, but top 15 for sure. He's up there. Who's the other corner, Gabe?
They have Byron Jones,
Jones,
and then there's their other corner on the other side. So to speak on that, this is not really for me. It's not really out of left field. I've heard that Xavien Howard wasn't happy with his contract. Obviously, he's seeing other people. He signed his contract, and he's seeing other people get paid, and seeing like how it's equal, and he feels like he's a better player than what he's getting paid for. Like he feels like, I guess, superior to some of his other teammates, which is fine. He is a good player. Whether you want to get him, like I said, he's he's kind of an older player, an older veteran on the team, and he played to his contract. I can tell you, his last contract, he played to his contract. That was one of the solid things going into the season was our corners were going to be really good. They were, I think, the highest paid pair at one time. The highest pair.
I think they still are. I think that they for sure are.
And he just feels disrespected, and it just kind of sucks. I don't know. I don't know how to feel because I do like him on the team. He plays well. And he's like, he's not one of these guys that cause problems on the team just like he's talking out of his ass just for anything. So if he feels like he's not getting paid, then I think he's doing it the right way. Like he's asking for a trade. He's like, hey, I'm gonna show up. I'm gonna come up and do my job, but please, if y'all can trade me, please trade me. And I really don't have a problem with that. Yeah. I think, if they can get something for him, that'll be a win-win, I guess. You can make him happy and maybe get some picks back. I hear the Dolphins are trying to get back more draft picks and any transaction they're trying to do. So they're trying to get more draft picks for the future. So if they want to trade him away, it just kind of sucks that he doesn't feel happy to be on this team, because I think this team is actually going to be like pretty sneakily good this year.
Here's the one thing though, and he's getting a lot of hate, and I kind of agree with the hate here, is that when you hear his thing, he really sounds like to be like he was treated like he got paid like shit, because in his thing he said that he signed a new contract 2 years ago. He said back then he felt like he wasn't really comfortable with the deal. He wasn't entirely sure about it, but they ended up signing it anyways. And then him and his agent this past offseason were trying to get together a contract extension because he felt like he deserved more and he wanted to have a longer contract. They came together with the contract. Dolphins didn't want to budge on it or anything like that. But now he's saying that. And then he went to say that he is significantly paid. He's the second highest paid corner on the team, and it's by a large margin. But then you look it up and you look into it, and he's only getting paid like $1 million less. I'm expecting I was expecting the other corner I was expecting Byron Jones to be making like 20 million and he's making 11, but it was really like 15.4 and 14.6. Like I don't even think it was $1 million. It was
I'm looking at it right now. So I just saw a percentage of the cap. Byron Jones getting paid 28 or 16 million this year. Xavien Howard's 13. So Byron Jones is about 8% of the Dolphins roster. And Xavien Howard's getting paid 6.8, so just like 2%. Yeah.
I actually thought it was what I saw must have been different then, because I saw something it was like 15 and he was 14. And then on top of that, it's just like, why are you blaming the team? Like, blame your agent. At the end of the day, you signed this deal.
And I was waiting to say that. Like, you signed this contract 2 years ago,
and you said that
your work.
And you said that
players
you
are
didn't
fighting
feel comfortable.
for the amount of money they want to receive their value. And I guess they just wanted something guaranteed, and they thought they could renegotiate later on, in which you can't really do that all the time, because once you sign that contract, Dolphins, they know their financials. They have moving pieces going on. They're already planning what's the next move for you to go back and to renegotiate, and they don't want to budge. I mean,
and the thing is, he still has years left on his contract, and I could see why he would want an extension and maybe get paid more because he did perform well. But it's like, if you didn't feel comfortable with the deal at first, why did you sign it? And then if you couldn't get a deal done earlier this offseason, that just means you kind of have a shitty agent at the end of the day. And then it's I kind of lost my train of thought there.
If I were to transition this, because we can also talk about somebody who wasn't happy with their team. We could talk about Aaron Rodgers if you want to talk about Aaron Rodgers real quick, because it was a surprise. I don't know if you know all the turmoil going on this summer. Aaron Rodgers saying he's not happy with the team. They offered him an extension. It was like he's going to be the highest paid NFL player. I don't know. It's like 4 years, like $40 million, something crazy. And he declined it. And we weren't sure if he was going to show up to practice or not. So Julian, going back to you, how do you feel about Aaron Rodgers showing up to minicamp or training camp?
I'm not terribly surprised. I'm a little surprised, but it seems like they kind of figured out some sort of idea. I didn't look too much into it, but it looked like they figured out they got on some sort of common ground. But it seems like he's going to end up playing for the Packers this year. I would probably bet the house on that. I'm a little surprised. I thought he wasn't.
Last year, yeah, man. He's playing last year.
He's gone out. He's out after this for sure. Like, there's no way he's playing there next year. He already declined the extension. I think he wants the Tom Brady treatment, and he probably deserves it. I mean, he hasn't actually been given any sort of weapons or anything. He's been treated like shit, and then they talk about like how Andy Dalton even got a heads up when they were drafting Justin Fields, and he got no heads up and moved up for Jordan Love. And that was the end of it. I mean, there's so much things leading up to that apparently from years past.
For him.
For the past 8 years, they haven't drafted any weapons for him. No offensive weapons in the first round for the past 8 years. And it looks like, I think I saw that Devontae Adams doesn't want to re-up his contract or anything, so he's probably out next year. He's not going to be playing. I did see something that was completely random, and it looks like Green Bay might be getting Randall Cobb back, because they're saying that the only way Aaron Rodgers is coming back is if they're bringing back Randall Cobb. I'm like, dude, Randall Cobb's washed. Like, what the fuck? Like, what do you want?
That was kind of weird when I heard that.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess this is his boy. And did you see how he came dressed? Did you see like what the fuck he was wearing?
He had the office shirt with Kevin on it or whatever.
Yeah, he just came goofy as hell. But
I'm surprised and shocked as hell. If you would have asked me, a week ago, is Aaron Rodgers? I would have said Aaron Rodgers is not playing. He's not suiting up for the Green Bay Packers. He is not coming to practice. He's not showing to training camp, and he is not going to be playing anymore for the Rodgers. So it's not a turnaround, like you said, Julian. He's like, just send me Randall Cobb or try to get Randall Cobb. I'm like, really? That's what you're mad for? You're mad just
I want fucking Randall Cobb.
Like some, who's, obviously he used to play for Green Bay Packers, but then he went to Dallas, and now he's in Houston. So I was like, really, that's you were just a Randall Cobb away from being happy.
Super Bowl.
That kind of shocked me, because I was like about 93% sure that he wasn't going to play anymore.
Same. I was on the same level with you. That's why I was like, I'm surprised, but like part of me felt like he would come back. And to me, I feel like he's almost wasting a year. That team's not a championship ready. Yeah. They're not. And to me, if he would have went to Denver or Miami, he's immediately contender. Immediately. Because there's no way Green Bay's going to trade him to the NFC. That's not happening. They're going to trade him to the AFC. And my bet was either my first place bet was probably Denver, and then my second was maybe Miami. But like that.
Yeah.
And my thing is, timing's everything. I feel like if the situation got that bad to where it was, could have just cut ties, moved on, did the Tom Brady, win the championship somewhere else. Maybe.
Well, he can't really cut ties because he signed a contract extension. I think he has like 2 more years or 3 more years.
This is his last year.
Okay.
Well, either way, man. I mean, it's good for the fans there, right? they didn't have their best player in the last God knows how many years leave abruptly. You know what I mean? They have one last chance to have some.
And they were holding on hope to Jordan Love. They're like, yo, Jordan Love look good. I was like, shut the fuck up. You guys are just trying to make yourself feel better.
Yeah, you know what I mean? That's crazy.
I mean, he might be good. We don't know. Yeah. But I think it's just funny to see that.
It's the first week of training camp, and like they're just kicking this can down the road. Like eventually, like if they don't renegotiate or change, I don't. To me, nothing much has changed besides them trying to get Randall Cobb. So like, it's not like the problem is more.
There has to be more that we don't know.
Like, okay, come play for a year, and then we'll rediscuss. Later on. But I'm pretty sure he's out of there. I don't think.
Oh, he's gone.
I'm surprised he's playing one more year, but yeah, I think he's gone after this.
I think he's for sure gone. Like, I think him showing up to training camp was kind of a statement that he's like, I'm gonna be here one more year, maybe for the fans or whatever. I don't know, but yeah. That's surprising. It really is.
Transitioning into baseball, there's a lot of baseball news coming out. One of the biggest news over the weekend was Cleveland is changing their names. The Cleveland Indians has finally changed their names. Just like the Washington football team. They're changing their name to the Cleveland Guardians. So I want to get JoJo's perspective, his idea. How do you feel about the Cleveland Guardians as a team?
It's not terrible. I'll say that.
Not terrible.
It's not the worst. The logo I've seen, I hope that's not the official logo or branding. They could have done a way better design than that.
Yeah, why the fuck is the logo like a G with a two-seam fastball?
Honestly,
like it's
like looks like a college intern busted that out in 20 minutes. They needed it for the press conference. Like, I really hope who's gonna be buying those jerseys and that and everything. Yeah. The rebranding, but the name itself, honestly, it's not that bad. I don't have a problem with it.
I don't think you have any insight, like because like you said, like the Guardians, the name, it's like, to me, it's kind of harmless. The logo is not very fierce. It doesn't really.
They definitely played it safe with the name. Yeah. You know what I mean?
It seems like the name is fitting for the city, because I don't know if you guys noticed in like the videos and stuff. I guess Cleveland on the bridge, they have these two like very like guardian looking things. Like you have to look it up. If you watch the video again, you see, and I guess that's like the entrance into the city or something like that. Okay. And they're like these they're like statues on the pillar of the bridge, and they're like these massive. They look like guardians, and I think they call them guardians. So it's like fitting for the city. Which
people on Instagram were calling them Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh yeah. Oh, I saw a tweet. One of their pictures was like, "Yo, if Groot is not our mascot, then I'm gonna be mad," or some shit like that.
Bro, if Groot is not our mascot.
Well, you know what really surprised me too is like, why did they do this like mid-season? Like, that seems so random to do it like mid-season. You think they would announce it at the end of the season and get it? Like, it just seems like a very odd timing. Like, it just seems.
I think that kind of like obviously what happened with Washington football team. You know what was going on. That was at the peak of the movement. Of the rallies, the protests, and then baseball didn't do anything about it. They kind of laid in the shadows, and they knew it was there. People weren't talking about it anymore. The Cleveland Indians, right? They weren't in the hot seat, but they knew at some point in time they had to change the name.
No, yeah, for sure. I didn't expect it in the middle of the season. Like you would have thought there would be like either before the season. Well, maybe they weren't ready before the season, but you think they would have waited till the end of the season, or like they didn't even do like Washington football team. They've been doing like those surveys or like votes or whatever for like names. They just went, no, this is what it's going to be, and like, but yeah, the logo I think is kind of garbage. The thing is, you could do some sick logos with that like name and kind of like. And take inspiration from those statues on the bridge, like, because if you look at them, they're pretty sick things. You could do some cool shit. I don't know why they chose two G's with wings and a fucking baseball in between. It made no sense.
Honestly, the biggest, I don't know if I had a problem with the name, in general. Definitely the fucking logo, the fucking Chief Wahoo shit. Definitely like one of the racist shit I've ever seen. I don't know if the name really offended me that much, but speaking of like, their hat isn't that bad. They've been trying to transition where they just put the C, which is like an old classic one. They kind of went away from the Chief Wahoo or whatever.
Yeah, something like that.
Logo. And like I feel like you don't even have to like you can change the name to Guardians, and you don't even have to put like a Guardian. Like I don't know, maybe you make it like Golden State. Golden State has the bridges. I mean, that looks pretty dope. You just put like a cool little thing, and you just have your bridge as your you know.
You could
as your
definitely do
logo on
something
this.
cool than just put a fucking G. Like your Guardians, be like a soldier. Like I don't know, it could be something sick. Like I don't know.
And to talk about what you brought up earlier, maybe they announce it now because maybe they kind of fill out the water, like, oh, what do these people think? Maybe they get opinions and like, okay, all right, this logo is whack. But they still have time to change it. It's better than changing it, in April next year. They let people talk about it now, and maybe people they put up a fucking design competition or something, and they can get feelers now and get feedback now of the logo instead of waiting until next season. So
good thing people like the name. Good thing people like the name because that would have been a lot harder. So they got the name. They just need to fix the logo.
Honestly, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like the name is fine, bro. When I saw that logo with the name, I was like,
"There's so many things. There's so many things you could have done. Like a Greek, like you could have been like a Greek god or something. I don't know. It could have been sick. Like you could have done something.
They could have had me as the mascot out there. Like I don't understand that.
You're too short, man.
I want to try some more news because this week is going on trade deadline for Major League Baseball. So I just want to talk about the Marlins real quick because I don't feel like I'm gonna be talking about the Marlins a lot this year.
They're trash.
They did have some transaction this week, and Jojo, you want to talk about the Yankees, you can. But pretty much the Marlins are pretty much trash. I had their stats pulled up here. They're 10 games behind first place, 10 games behind the Mets, 44 and 57. Their run differential, I think, still like +4, +5 or something. But they still haven't been winning games. Their biggest transaction this week, they got rid of Sterling Marte, which is kind of what they've been saying all year long because they didn't really want to pay Sterling Marte. I think they offered him.
They don't want to pay anybody, which is, I get it. They're building their farm team, and when someone gets too valuable, they go ahead and take them somewhere else.
So they gave him one of these deals to say like, oh, well, we gave him a deal, and he said no. So I mean, what do you want us to do? So and I think it was like 3 year, $10 million each year, so $30 million. And he wants one. He's a veteran player in the league. So they traded him to the Oakland Athletics for Jesus Luzardo, a lefty from Oakland. He's a Miami guy, so he was on Instagram today saying I'm coming home. So that'll be dope. And they also they're bringing back Sixto Sanchez. Sixto Sanchez is one of their guys they got last year. He got hurt. He just came off of surgery and rehab, and they're adding him back to the lineup now. So I saw someone on Twitter today. They're like, oh, yo, the Marlins could be a dangerous team as far as their starters. Because we got pretty good starters. Sandy Alcantara is pretty good. Pablo Lopez is probably our best pitcher. Trevor Rodgers is another good one. He was a rookie this year, and he went to the All-Star games. He was like one of the only All-Stars. And Sixto's coming back off of surgery, and we're adding. They're adding a lot of pieces. But today in the chat, I think one of the guys brought it up. Like asking about the Marlins, how they're doing. I'm like, there is potential for these pitchers to do very well. There's high potential, but you got to support them with runs. And the Marlins are like one of the worst teams as far as hits, RBIs, home runs.
That's what I was about to say. They can't fucking hit the ball, dude. They can't hit the ball. Every time I see the score line on my phone, it's always like 1 or 0 runs. And then they had that one blowout like last week where they lost like 15-1. And they happened to score 1 run right at the end of the game. It was really 15-0 for a long time. And like they can't fucking hit the ball, dude. They haven't been able to hit the ball all season. Like I want to see like they. And the thing is, you would think their record would be worse, but they've been able to keep low scoring games, but they have to. They can't fucking hit the ball.
I don't think they're going to make a comeback this year. They're adding a lot of potential players, a lot of prospects, but I don't think they're going to be relevant until next year. You know what I mean? They have a couple good hitters, Duvall and Jesus Aguilar, who's a first baseman. They're actually pretty good. They're actually up there. They're like top 10 as far as RBIs. It's just that there's everybody else is just okay. They're just guys. You know what I mean? They're just like role players. There's not really anything that's super impressive. Yeah. There's some small guys. There's some guys there to love. Like Chisholm is a Bahamian kid, fun guy to root for, hometown kid kind of. Because Miami's right there an hour away. But
real quick, actually, that game was worse than it was 18-1.
Yeah. They don't really have a steady offense. That's the only thing. So while they're making moves, I feel like this is the last time I'm probably gonna talk about the Marlins because these are nice moves, but it's like gonna have to wait till next year to see like the results of hope. You know, I'm tanking on this season. Like I'm not really rooting. You know, I don't expect them to do much this season. You know, last year was a surprise. They went to a 3-game wild card with the Cubs and they came out. You know what I mean? And then they got booted by the fucking Braves. But
yeah, man.
These are moves. These are good moves, but it's just like, man, it's just like they're kind of like wasting a half a year. You know what I mean?
Trust the process. Your 5-year plan.
I'm looking at this. I'm looking at the previous games, and it seems like every like third game they actually like score more than 5 runs, but then they go like on a 3-game streak where they can't score more than 3.
So that was it for the Marlins. I guess I'm done with Marlins talk. Jojo, I didn't really want to we talked a little bit about the Yankees transitions. There wasn't really that much. They sent some guys up down to AAA, and they picked up Justin Wilson. They got rid of Wilson and Sessa for a player to be later. But
right now,
your Yankees going on.
Update I just got on my phone 30 minutes ago. Yankees are finalizing a deal to acquire outfielder Joey Gallo from the Rangers, which I knew we were looking for an outfielder for a while. Starling Marte was actually in talks earlier, not too long ago. You know, they're looking at Trevor Story, you know, a few guys that they wanted. A quick little recap on the Yankees right now, man. We're fighting for this playoff spot, you know, in the AL East. Tough competition going on, man. We got Boston in the lead, followed by Tampa in second place, and then we have the Yankees. But right now, you know, some of our most important series is going on, in which 2 series ago we won the series against Boston. Definitely needed that. Obviously, playing teams in your own division, man, that's where you really flip the script in the standings. And then after that, we won the series against the Phillies. And then right back to Boston, in which unfortunately we only won 1 game out of the 4, which I was watching every single game, and I was, man, I know how bad we needed those games. But yeah, I was disappointed in that. And right now we're in Tampa. Games going on right now. We won last night, 4-3. We held on to our lead, and one of our biggest opportunities, man, is our relief pitching, because we can't seem to hold the lead. And I was scared yesterday. We went up 3-0, ended up tying at 3-3. We got the lead 4-3. We've been leaving, you know, runners on base, not driving them in. And what I've seen with the Yankees, which the first half of the season, they've been playing home run ball. You know, I feel like the fundamentals of the game, the fun parts of the game, you know, have gone out the window. But these last 22 games, they kind of brought it back. I would say, whereas, you know, situational hitting, bunting, stealing bases, they were second worst in the league in stolen bases. I forgot the stat. It was like 8 in like the first 40 games. And then we had like, I don't know, 4 to 8 in like the last 10 games. You know, they're really stepping it up. You know, hitting runs, bunting, you know, all that good stuff, sack flies, driving runners in. But it's really our relief pitching that's costing us right now.
That's how I feel about the fucking Marlins too. I'm like, man, they have good starters, but it's like, yo, once you get in that bullpen is not, that shit is shallow. That shit is shallow.
And that's where Tampa Bay's been thriving, man. And Tampa keeps games close, especially you know, when they're playing over there, Tropicana Field and that AstroTurf field. You know, they got the low wall over there in right field, which benefits them if they know how to hit over there. And you know, that's what, you know, what actually cost them in the World Series last year, if you remember that, though. But I mean, they stuck to their game plan. That's what they've been doing. And right now, we need a series win. And you know what's next right after this series, Gabe? Coming up on Friday, Yankees versus your Marlins. How you feel about that?
I think this is the point when I start watching more Yankees games this year. You know what I mean? They got a decent chance. I mean, they're 8.5 games behind.
This is it, man. This is it.
This is a sprint. After All-Star break, this is a sprint to, you know, it looks like they're going to be fighting for a wild card spot with Boston and Tampa being up there.
Oh, and that's why I was so upset when we lost that series against Boston, man. Every win, I mean, granted, we got players out, we had key players out, but I feel like that's why we've been playing a little better, you know, in a different way, better in a different way. Like I said, like stealing bases, you know, drawing more walks, you know, not just going for home runs. You know what I mean? That's kind of what it seemed like in the first half of the season. We were relying on that.
So we're going to keep following baseball. Like I said, I'll probably be watching more Yankees games. I want to talk about news that came out this week, college football, because it seems like, what is it, the Big Ten, Julian?
college
Texas,
sports in
Oklahoma.
general. Big 12.
Yeah. The Big 12. I'm sorry. Excuse me. I
Big
don't know
12.
my college conferences. Texas, Oklahoma, they're trying to transition to the SEC over the weekend. And Julie, I just kind of get your thoughts on what you think about these schools trying to move over.
The Big 12 is dead.
Like that.
It's dead.
Pops Mike.
It's dead. The two main supporting the people who like hold the Big 12 up, and the only reason why the Big 12 is even at Power 5 is because of those two schools right there. Texas and Oklahoma. Sure, you got some other guys, and then you got Okie State and like Texas Tech and all that, but like Texas and Oklahoma, especially Oklahoma. Oklahoma's been winning the Big 12 for the past like fucking, it feels like 5 years now. Texas, granted, Texas hasn't been the greatest. Yeah, and football, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because they don't really do much in
baseball.
Basketball.
Texas is pretty prestigious.
Yeah,
in baseball.
But in football, yeah, Texas hasn't been relevant in football since Vince Young, which is they've been on a really big downturn for the past like decade and a half. Even though Texas is historically one of the best schools, but yeah, I mean them going to the SEC, it makes the SEC really competitive. And now adding these two colleges will make the SEC 16 teams, and that will make that leaves the SEC at 16. It leaves the ACC at 15. The Big 12, I believe, they dropped down. I think what's going to really happen is this is going to shake up a lot. I think this is a really big deal. I think this is going to turn everything from a Power 5 to possibly a Power 4. I think Big 12 they were already kind of on the brink of like they're barely a Power 5, but I think you're going to start seeing some teams move to the Big 10 because the Big 10 could use some more teams. ACC might want to bring in one more, maybe like a West Virginia or something like that to get an even 16, just like the SEC. And then I could see the Pac-12 picking up some guys like Texas Tech and some of those more out west people. But I see a lot of them going to the Big 10. I think this is going to completely reshuffle and be the disbandment of the Big 12 because they, like I said, Texas and Oklahoma, they were the ones holding it up. They were the main ones like vouching for the Big 12. They were the big recruiting factor for bringing when the Big East got disbanded. They were the ones trying to like, hey, come to the Big 12, come to the Big 12. But now that they're gone, they pretty much jump ship. Like nobody else is there to like hold it up. And like I think this is just a ripple effect. And I think even though it's not set in stone, it looks like they're going. It's going to make the SEC way more competitive. Maybe we start seeing teams with like 2, maybe even 3 losses get into the college playoffs. We're going to start seeing some more competition. And this is a huge deal, a really big deal.
Here's what I haven't been following very closely. I just kind of heard the news. But kind of what from my perspective, what I see this like these teams are making moves. Like they're trying to make JoJo. They're trying to make like a super league. Like it seems like that this move of them trying to leave the 12 to go to the SEC is kind of like they're trying to grab at cash dollars, right? Because they sell the rights to their games. And you know we're talking about football mainly because that's mainly the money driver, right? Everybody watches college football. As far as sports that bring in cash to schools, it's probably like football, maybe baseball, basketball.
Yeah, this is the whole reason why they're moving is solely for football. This is like, I mean, basketball's not going to move conference. It's football that's going to make conferences move.
Yeah,
I mean, universities leave conferences.
Basketball. Nobody, you know what I mean? They're watching, and kind of what from my perspective as far as football, it's like they're, you know, if you look at the finals, the CFB finals, whatever, it's mainly like there's like 6 teams that carry football, right? There's 6 teams that you're always going to watch: Alabama, Florida, whatever, Ohio State. You know, there's always like the same. It's the same. You know, 6 teams that are always at the top of the rankings, and this move is kind of like them trying to make a super league or make like their own separate thing. Like they're trying to break away, and you know, just make like the super league of like all the really good teams. And I think it's gonna be disruptive. I wonder if this is gonna like start like a chain of like fucking musical chairs where everybody's trying to get different, you know, go to different.
I'm telling you, yeah, dude. I think Big 12's done. You're going to see a huge shuffle. I think I think Big Ten's going to pick up a lot of those guys because that's all a lot of those teams are Midwest. I can see either West Virginia or Baylor going to the ACC, or if not both of them. And I think you're going to get some guys going to the Pac-12. I think it's going to turn into 4.
Today, I saw earlier a tweet today. Actually, there was a letter sent by the Pac-12 to ESPN because obviously the team there's different perspective, right? The teams are trying to go to the big schools where all the games are going to watch. They're going to try to play fucking your Alabamas and whatever, your Florida States, Florida, so they can get more money on the rights. But also, there's networks that have to show the game. So like one of the biggest, I think there's a cease and desist letter from the Pac-12 to ESPN saying that they're kind of like nudging these two teams to leave to join the Super League, so that way the Pac-12 can, when the negotiations come up again, that since they lost all their viewership, like you said, Texas and Oklahoma holds the Pac-12 up. So what they leave,
you mean Big 12
cheaper, that the ESPN can buy them cheaper, the rights cheaper. They don't have to spend as much money to stream those games.
Wait, do you mean the Big 12?
Yeah, the Big 12. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's Pac-10. I'm mixing up names. I don't fucking know.
Pac-10, Big 12, Big 10, Pac-12,
ACC, DCC, SWAC, MEAC, all that shit.
Yeah.
So there was a cease and desist letter I saw that was written by the president of whatever conference, saying ESPN to cease and desist because it seems like they're nudging these teams to leave so they can buy up the rights cheaper. So this all to me looks like money moves. It's money moves by the networks to show the games, and money moved by these schools to get the TV money to them to give up their rights. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
And it's kind of crazy to see how much money there is actually in the flow of college sports, because we haven't talked about the NIL, obviously the name, image, likeness that happened this past year by the Supreme Court, but like how much money, they try to say, oh, this is amateurism, these are amateurs, they're students, whatever, but there's so much money to be made off, off like kind of this, like it's literally like a minor league for
football. You see the Alabama quarterback hasn't even taken a snap and he's already making over $1 million. Hasn't even taken a snap. Hasn't even taken a snap. But a very underrated thing too that a lot of people are forgetting as well is that now the SEC is going to get some money from the Longhorn Network, which is a huge network. It's like people sleep on it, but the Longhorn Network is huge. Like, I mean, think about how many people live in Texas and like how many viewers, and you get, and that's you get that nationwide. You get the Longhorn Network everywhere. And that's another big money maker. I mean, like I said, in a sense, I do think it's making everything a little bit more competitive, though. I think you're going to start seeing some 2-3 losses team maybe make it to the playoffs, especially if they expand it. I can't remember. Are they expanding college football playoffs? Isn't it expanding to 8? Is it official?
It's in the talks, I believe. I don't know if
it's official. I don't know if it's official. I think that's what they want to do. But yeah, man, like that was just a point I want to bring up because to me, like I said, there's money to be made everywhere. The schools are trying to make money. The networks are trying to make money. They're trying to get viewers so they can sell advertisements, so they can sell you fucking Ritz crackers or some shit.
I really think the ACC is looking at Baylor for basketball. I think that's the only probably instance where basketball is probably a big driver is maybe the ACC would like to have Baylor in their conference.
Yeah,
because
and what I don't know if you realize this too, because I listen to Dan Le Batard show, and actually the guy who's kind of like the president of their company is John Skipper. John Skipper used to be the president of ESPN a couple years ago before he left under some controversy. But John Skipper went on TV and pretty much said that like, he kind of pretty much echoed that like this is like just a money move. They're just trying to change money. ESPN bought the rights to these games for a certain amount of money, and
because the SEC network is under ESPN, right?
Because they have the rights to like ESPN have the rights to some of the SEC games, even though I think SEC has their own network.
Well, I think that's what I was saying. I think the SEC network is under ESPN because I remember ESPN. Tim Tebow used to be like one of the main people for the SEC network, and he worked for ESPN.
And we talked about ESPN, like buying the rights to UFC. That if you want to watch UFC, you're gonna get the ESPN app.
Got hockey now.
So they're trying to, ESPN is trying to be the Netflix of sports. Like if you want to watch college football, we got that. If you want to watch UFC,
Disney.
We got that. You want to watch, it's Disney. They're our mouse overlords. But pretty much, Yeah, but I just want to pretty much bring it up. Like, there's so much money to be made, and like I said, they try to say college sports is amateurism. They're student athletes. It's like, y'all been making so much money off these kids. Like, it's about time that these fucking kids can get fucking whatever.
That shit was a racket, bro.
Sponsorship from Honda or whatever the fuck. Because I played baseball under NCAA, in NCAA, and like I couldn't, by NCAA rules, I couldn't work a job. So like, even though like I could go to class, I had to go to class, serve my A's, I had to do study hours, whatever. I had to do all this shit. But like, I had to go to class with my classmates, but my classmates could work like a 40-hour job or a 20-hour job, but I couldn't by the technical rules, even though.
Well, Gabe, do you think back in your glory days, you've got
when you were a young prodigy going to single A
sponsorship? Let me see who
you would have been the man. You would have been the man on campus.
Oh, man, I would have been.
No chains.
He would have had the local car wash sponsorship.
DeMarini bats. I would have had DeMarini bats on lock.
Tops? I heard Tops. Yeah, you on Tops?
You know what, Gabe? All right, real quick. Gabe, give us your 3 sponsorships you would have had. Top 3 sponsorships you would have had back in your glory.
Oh man, see, so our conference was the MEAC, and we had Russell. So all our shit was Russell. All my catcher's gear, Russell. I would have got Nike for the cleats. Nike cleats are the best. I mean, Nike's the best. Look at the guy who's wearing a Nike shirt on this goddamn podcast. Nike. Bats, Louisville's a good bat. They're kind of newer. They were the higher expensive ones. I don't know how much they cost.
So wait, you weren't a Marucci kind of guy?
No, I'm not.
You didn't like the bougie bats, you little Louisville.
That's too foreign for me. Too foreign for me. Louisville, Nike, and let me see. I'm starting to think of my glove. What kind of glove did I have?
Russell.
I mean, Wilson.
Yeah, Russell. Yeah, I was gonna say Russell.
No, we didn't have a Russell glove. My glove was whatever the fuck I bought, but Wilson.
Oh, you could have whatever glove you wanted.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Those are my top 3 sponsors. I would have got paid, baby.
Got paid in his glory days,
driving around in a Benz.
But yeah, that's it for college football. I just want to bring up, people are making money off these kids. But finally, I want to end on the Olympics because obviously the Olympics have started. We're in the middle of the Olympics. Let's bring it back to basketball because we talked about the NBA Finals earlier. Let's talk about this USA basketball team. I haven't been watching. I have watched zero of USA basketball. All I've been seeing is news. I've seen more news about USA basketball than actual games. And what I hear is
they even air these games. It was like 3 a.m.
Yeah, dude, that's why I hate it when they have the Olympics in like Asia.
You never know, man.
It's like Europe, you can handle because it's like maybe 6 hours ahead. You can see it in like during the day, like the after like noon or whatever. But man, when it's in Asia, it's rough. Like it's like
I think one of the things I'm hearing
to catch you up, Gabe. To catch you up. Yeah. So they lost the first official game to France, I believe.
Yes, against Rudy Gobert and the boys. Which I don't know why I did not realize that Rudy Gobert was French. I mean, like it's clearly a friend. Yeah, clearly. It just never clicked in my head until I saw him playing on the team. I'm like, oh, I was like, that makes sense.
And then I believe yesterday, I don't know when the game was, whatever time it was, yesterday, this morning,
they blew them the fuck out. Yeah,
they won by like 60 against Iran. So people claim USA's back.
They beat Iran,
because you got to beat the top team. Like we know the top teams are. In the world, like you got France out there,
Spain, Argentina.
Spain,
Argentina looks really good. I mean,
even China has a pretty good squad. So I mean, let's see. You know what I mean? Like you said, I've been seeing more headlines. I haven't even seen a game yet.
Yeah. They did add now that the finals are over, D-Book has came over to the squad. He's so he should have helped with a little bit.
Came over.
Zach LaVine, I think Zach LaVine had a COVID-19 thing, but then he.
By the way, I did not realize either that Greece is actually a really good team. I guess they're like top 5. They could possibly
imagine if Giannis was playing for Greece right now.
He isn't, right?
An NBA title, a Finals MVP, and then to win. That would be ridiculous.
I think he's taking a break. I'm sure they asked. I'm sure they asked.
100%.
But apparently they got a good team.
Yeah. I think the last time we asked, we were like, yo, should we hit the panic button on USA basketball team? JoJo, it sounds like you're still wait and see guy.
I said yes, because honestly, bro, This team lacks leadership. I don't like this team at all, bro. I don't know if you saw these little videos with KD and Bam, and they're kind of going at
Seems
it.
like
Now
they're
playing pranks on KD. They all sing him happy birthday. I don't know if you saw that video. They all sing happy birthday. KD looks upset. Like, dude,
bro, they need Coach K back. Greg Pop is not doing it, man. Come on, Pop.
The team lacks leadership. Honestly, bro, I feel like yes, for USA basketball, it is gold or bust. 1,000%. I don't care if teams across the world are getting better or whatever reason, or you know what I mean? This is your B squad. Like, you got to keep it going. Yes, the pressure's on 100%. Go out there. These guys claim to be the best players on their each individual team, and they're all striving to be NBA champions or have already won. You know what I mean? And I get the chemistry factor. I get it. You know what I mean? They don't play together all the time. But, at an all-star game, they want to drop 150 points and do all this crazy stuff. Like, make it happen, bro.
I don't care about the chemistry or whatever. That team is too, even if it's a A-, B+ team, it is still filled with all-stars, a clear-cut best team in the world in this Olympics. Like, they need to win. And I don't know if they will. I really don't think they will. I think you should hit the panic button because it seems like every time they face actual competition, they've lost. They've lost to Australia. They've lost to Nigeria, which really isn't even competition at that. And they lost to France. And it's like, and they lost to Argentina. Like what do you, or actually, I think they won one of those games.
Beat Argentina, yeah.
They beat Argentina. I got Argentina and Australia mixed up with the A's. But either way, it's still, it's like, I don't see them beating Spain. I don't like,
listen, man. I need one person. You know who I'm gonna say. I need LeBron. Save the day. Carry on. Next topic for the Olympics. Go ahead, Gabe.
That's basketball. I just want to touch on basketball real quick because we talked about the NBA earlier, and obviously we probably have the most. I think they said we have the most All-Stars, but it doesn't look like it. The results don't claim that. But I just want to talk about the Olympics in general. I'm looking here at the leaderboards. Number one, the top 3 teams in gold: Japan with 13, China 12, United States 11, and then overall, it looks like United States has 31 medals in total. China with 27, and Japan with 22, and ROC, which is Russia, with 23.
ROC, isn't it RU?
Yeah. No, it's the Russian. It's the ROC is the Russian. Russian Olympic Committee, because all that scandal came out last. You never seen that?
They technically got banned or something like that.
Yeah. So Russia got banned. So they cannot represent Russia, the country. In fact, since they can't represent Russia, the country, their anthem cannot be played. So they've been playing like Tavarsky or some piano, the pianist Scar. I don't know how to say the name. They're just playing piano music. Russian. It's just a Russian pianist.
I forgot about that. That's
because Jojo, I don't know if you know about. They're doing. If you look at Russia, they're using the Russian colors as red, white, and blue because that's their flag colors. But it's the Russian Olympic Committee because they got banned for the steroids from the last Olympics. I don't know if you saw the steroid controversy.
Yeah, I feel like it was rampant, and apparently they've been doing this for many and many Olympics. Like it was like a very common. They just never got caught. But this was not just a one-time thing.
Russia, the country, is not competing. The Russian athletes are competing. At least the ones that didn't get caught, because I heard that they had to prove that they weren't involved at all with the controversy, and then that's how they were allowed to go to Olympics. So it's the Russian. If you see ROC, it's Russia, the Russian Olympic Committee. But yeah, I just want to kind of just talk in general. Like, what have you guys been watching? Because I've been watching. Like on Saturday, I was like awake at like 4 o'clock in the morning, couldn't go to bed, and I was watching like fucking all kinds of shit. Jojo, I want to get your feeling. Like, what have you been watching so far, and like, what is your favorite sport that you see?
What I think is super dope, is that they added skateboarding to the Olympics.
Oh yeah, that young Japanese guy. I did see that. Yeah.
Yes, and I don't want to get this wrong. I feel like she's Brazilian, right? There was
Letizia Buffoni.
I think she is. Yeah.
Letizia,
girl that went viral a couple years ago. 4 or 5 years ago or whatever it was, doing kick flips in a a princess outfit or a little tutu.
Yeah.
You know, she got acknowledgement in like 2015 from like Tony Hawk on Twitter saying it was cool.
She's a huge.
She competed in the Olympics. What a story, bro. That's crazy. That's like wow. Like, how do you see that?
Wait,
yeah, and one of the things I
think I got the person mixed up. I think I got the person mixed up. What was her name?
Look up the name if you want. But she is Brazilian. There's a Brazilian a girl, and they're like 13 years old. Like they're young as fuck. That's one of the craziest things I've seen is from skating. Is like not only did they add it, but there's like a bunch of young kids. I'm like, yo, that's kind of dope as fuck. Like to be like 13 and be, you know,
I think it's divided into two sections. I think it's like street skating and then like the park or something like that. Two separate.
There's a free form.
Yeah. Well, I don't know how it's scored. I don't really know too much detail. But also, real quick, you know, it's pretty cool with the skateboarding. Obviously, it's a new sport. Somebody has to supply the. What do you wear? You know what I mean? So Nike partnered up with a company called Para. They did a collab on the skate uniforms that they're all wearing. Is all Nike, which is pretty dope. And yeah, that's pretty cool. And they made it accessible for us to buy as well. Like they dropped it. I thought it was cool. As every country, they have Japan, China, USA, Brazil, everyone else competing in that. It's pretty cool.
I will say that it's not super uncommon to see like really young people. Like, I mean, that's how the X Games has been they're just kind of mimicking the X Games. Like, for example, the USA representative, Nigel Houston, like the biggest name in skateboarding right now, he made his name in the X Games at like 13 years old. And he had like, I remember he had like big old dreads. He was like this skinny little kid, like, and he won gold at the X Games, and now he came to represent. I think he ended up falling. He was up there in like third in the top 3, but then he ended up falling to like 6 or 7. It was a big disappointment because he was the favorite, but the Japanese kid ended up winning it all, which was pretty crazy. But yeah,
they call it street. By the way, skateboarding is street. The women's street, men's street.
Yeah,
that's the name of the event.
I don't think they had. I don't think they had vert. I think it was just street.
Yeah. But actually, one other thing too, I noticed, like as far as like camera, like visual, watching the fucking Olympic Games, the skateboarding I had the best because they have fucking drones and shit, like the different angles of how they're showing the skateboarding. I was like, yo, this is actually pretty cool. Like this is like watching like a skateboarding movie or something. Like it was probably one of the dopest ones. Jojo, any other games that you watched that you thought were kind of cool or any weird ones that you didn't know? Table tennis.
I'm super into table tennis. You know what I mean? Over the past few years, I'm playing a lot more. You know, it's competitive, man. It's fun.
Yeah.
And they take it serious over in other countries. The best matchup I saw, I don't know their names. It was for the gold. And it was doubles. And it was women's doubles, China versus Japan. That matchup was insane. Honestly, it was unrealistic how their reaction times, their speed. Like, yo, it's serious, man. Like, there's some serious training that has to go into it, and you need a good level of cardio as well. Like, they take breaks between each matchup. Yeah. I believe it's a best out of 7 series. So first to win 4 sets, first to 11 wins each game. It's pretty dope.
And just Japan upset China when the doubles gold. Julian, what have you been watching, and what you found cool so far in the Olympics?
I haven't actually watched a whole lot, but I saw the finals to skateboarding, and then I watched a lot of surfing because this is the first Olympics where surfing's getting added. I've always watched surfing, and I have been for the past few years. I've been really into it. I think it's really entertaining. I mean, some people find it boring. I like it. But this was kind of like, it's funny because it's kind of like the same names you see in the World Surf League, the WSL. So it was kind of almost like another event. The only difference is you're getting a gold medal, but it was kind of the same guys. Brazil, the representative for Brazil, each country had 2 surfers that represent 2 men and 2 women. The guy who ended up winning it, he was Brazilian named Ítalo Ferreira. He was actually the reigning champ for 2019. Since 2020 got canceled. But he ended up taking home gold. The Japanese surfer Kanoa Igarashi, he ended up getting second place with silver, which it's the funniest thing because like he represents Japan. He was born there, but he's like the most like Cali like surfer dude ever. Yeah. Like he's like completely Americanized, but he's representing his country. But it's just because he's like surprisingly the other Japanese surfer who's actually from Japan, like or like, you know, raised there and everything. He actually outperformed way more because he's not on the pro tour at all, and he actually ended up competing. He's probably going to get himself on there because he actually ended up competing really well. But yeah, it was awesome. I haven't watched anything else though. I did watch a little bit of like basketball highlights because the thing is, a lot of it's during the middle of the night because it's in Tokyo. So that's about it.
Shout out Katie Ledecky.
I keep on seeing her name. What exactly? What did she do? Like, was she like an underdog or something like that?
She won the 1600. She won the marathon swimming one. I can't tell you which stroke.
But what was so important about her winning? I guess like.
Well, she has high hopes. She was kind of upset because I think she got upset. She lost in I think freestyle. She lost to an Australian a couple times, and people were expecting her to run away, kind of be like, you know, the Michael Phelps, just run away with gold.
Yeah,
and she lost a couple times.
Precisely, yeah.
So I think she just won. She won the marathon. I think it's a 1600. But like the shorter races, she lost. Like it was like a 200 meter, the 100 meter. Those she didn't come close at all.
I did watch some soccer. I did watch some U23 soccer. I watched a little bit.
I didn't even know they were playing soccer.
Yeah. It's U23, so it's like it's by like FIFA rules.
Yeah, I've been watching a shit ton, dog. I've seen everything. I've watched archery. I watched the beginning of archery, like the preliminaries. It was like Argentina versus like South Korea. I've watched fucking softball. I watched softball, the women's softball team, USA versus Mexico in the first game, I think. I've watched fucking 3-on-3 basketball.
USA woman took the gold.
Bro, is that a new sport? Was that always a thing? I was about to say I've never seen that shit before. I was like, is this shit new? Like, it's so random. It seems very random to have 3v3 basketball.
I haven't seen any, not the regular basketball. I've seen the 3-on-3 basketball.
Are those like
basketball? Imagine this: LeBron, KD, and Steph Curry 3-on-3.
Is it? But like, are they like a part of like the WNBA or like the NBA? Or are they just like
the guys that I've seen haven't been. The guys that I've seen, I haven't seen any professional players.
I wonder what qualifies that. Yeah,
they're playing the 5-on-5. That's why. I don't think they can jump over, or I don't think they want to jump over. It's a totally different sport. Dog.
Well,
have you seen the big three?
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, I guess maybe there's just like a 3v3 league out there. I guess, like, I was wondering if there's any like NBA guys in there, if they're just like some other guys that like work their way up through some other league, or
maybe they're trying to get into the league, or maybe they're former players. I don't know. The guys that I've seen, like, I watched like it was like Egypt versus not Egypt. It was like Brazil. I forget who. It was just some random shit.
You know what's always lit, and I haven't got a chance to watch it, but I remember watching it. Fucking handball. Handball always looks sick. Look up handball. It looks fucking sick.
I've seen handball. They play that in New York a lot. They play handball a lot in New York.
No, but
are you talking about that handball? Or you're talking about a different, because there's two.
I'm talking about the Olympic, the shit they're playing in the Olympics.
Do they have to throw the ball in the net? That handball?
They throw. Yeah, they have a racket. They have a racket, or they throw it.
It's handball. You know, there's no racket in handball.
Okay. No, wait, Julian, real quick, because we got New York style handball where you smack the ball against the wall.
We're talking about
one where you're passing it up the court and you have to throw it.
Yes, we're talking about Olympic.
Us New Yorkers don't consider that handball.
Well, New York doesn't revolve around the world. We're talking about the world.
We're the handball confused. Shit Dave was like, handball, and I was like,
no, handball. Look up fucking handball. That shit's electrifying.
I know what it is.
Field hockey's kind of cool too. I don't mind field hockey. You know, though, I'm more of a Winter Olympics guy. I've always found the Winter Olympics to be pretty sick. I've always liked those.
The Summer Olympics is
like I love this. I love watching hockey. I like watching the snowboarding. I don't know. I think it's always cool. The ski jumping.
But just to follow, in case y'all don't know what handball is, the Olympic handball we're talking about, it's kind of like soccer with like. It's kind of like basketball and soccer, except you don't dribble.
You can take 3 steps with the ball, and then you have to pass it.
Apparently, Iran's like the fucking shit. Apparently, like they got the squad. Like they're gonna like
the floor is like kind of like a basketball court, but with like a soccer goal. And you put the ball in your hand and you run, and then you throw it with your hand, but you have to throw it behind a line or something. That's the handball. That's Olympic handball. The handball that we're talking about, the New York one, that's the wall ball. I call it wall ball, but handball.
I've always called it wall ball too. Like when I was a kid, we always called it wall ball.
Or burn ball. Y'all play burn ball? JoJo, you ever play burn ball?
Yeah, of course we play burn ball.
I've actually never. I never heard of handball until JoJo said it. I've always known of it as wall ball.
Yeah.
No, in New York, you don't say wall ball. You play, it's handball. It's just considered handball up there.
There'd be some old motherfuckers in New York too that would play that shit. It'd be like a 70-year-old man playing.
You know what I did want to watch?
They're nasty. They're nasty. They'll play you with the opposite hand and smoke you. Like,
I did kind of want to watch the like the skeet shooting, like all the rifle stuff. I always used to find those are pretty cool, especially like the skeet shooting and just like pop, 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 pop.
Yeah,
I just seen them.
I saw on Twitter, I think USA won or something. They got gold. I don't know. They got a medal. And then there was all the jokes on Twitter like, oh, US wins shooting. And everybody like, okay. That's an easy joke, right?
All right, I'm not even going to get into that.
You should.
I'm not even going to. But I mean, that's dope, man. There's a lot of stuff going on in the Olympics, Gabe. Looks like I want to catch up on some stuff. I need to watch more before it ends.
Tennis, you got golf.
I was going to ask.
Field hockey is kind of cool.
I was going to ask if you all had to be in an Olympic sport and be really good at it, be able to compete like at a high level, which sport would you pick to go to the Olympics for?
That's a good question.
Surfing.
Now you have to be.
You have to
be who you are right now, like your height, your weight, but let's say you're strong, you're good, whatever.
Honestly, bro,
surfing. Pick? I'll still pick. You don't have to be. Your body is not really that big of a deal. I mean, you don't want to be too big, but like 5'10" to like 6'1", like you're chilling, like and you're not like super heavy, like. I like to do that.
Yeah, so to answer your question, my height, my weight, man, Gabe, I'd have to go with wrestling. I wrestled in high school, and the thought and dreams of becoming an Olympic wrestler, it's like it's amazing to think about, bro. I'd feel like that's 100%.
Would you consider judo? Judo. Would you consider judo?
I'd consider judo.
Judo's fun.
I'm more familiar with wrestling, but yeah, man, that'd be a dream. Olympic
Judo's
wrestler.
Fun.
Be dope.
Julian, the question goes to you. There's boxing. I guess you kind of answered already. There's boxing. There's all kind of games.
I was going to say I was surfing. I do like the idea of boxing. I'm not entirely sure how Olympic boxing works though. Like, cause you can't fight more than once. Like you physically. Like, I don't understand how Olympic boxing is scored. Like
I think it's they do lower rounds, shorter rounds, but they do box like. If they don't box every day, they box every other day. I know that's how they've been doing it for like.
So it's not like fight, like it's not like a 12-round fight. Like I remember seeing it, but it was so long ago. I'm not entirely. I just remember thinking like, how the fuck does that work? Because I mean, it takes like months to train for a boxing fight.
Well, I mean, I think they qualify for certain positions, and then it's like bracket style. Like you just go through the bracket. It's not like you're facing the same people like 3 times or something.
Honestly, I think the rifle would be kind of cool. I think like being a skeet shooter would be kind of dope. Volleyball sounds fun, honestly. Like volleyball sounds pretty fun.
At your height,
I'll be in the back.
That's what I'm saying. You gotta be your height, your weight.
All right, Julian.
I'll do shooting
or beach volleyball.
Oh, beach all day.
Man, that should be hot as fuck.
I would say soccer, but Olympic soccer is not really that big of a deal because it's U23. But yeah.
Let's see. I swam in high school. I was never good, but swimming, I was good at a couple strokes. I was good at butterfly and backstroke. Those are probably my best ones. Man, softball used to be so much fun. Baseball.
Is it men's softball or is it only women's softball?
I don't know. I think they have men's baseball.
How does that work? I guess you're getting no MLB guys in that. It's all like other guys.
Be whoever goes and trains and gets picked for the team. If I had to pick a fucking sport, man, you know what? I always wanted to be. There's a lot I would
do, honestly.
I always wanted to be a gymnast. I always want to be a gymnast. I seen those guys, they're always fucking ripped. They got big ass fucking arms.
I see Gabe flipping around.
Yeah, man. I want to be a gymnast. I want to be with the little twirly thing and doing flips and.
Honestly, that stuff's hard, man.
A part of me feels like a team. A part of me feels like a team sport would be kind of cool though. Like just doing it together as like a team, and like taking it home. Obviously, there's not a lot of team stuff for the Olympics. Most of it's individual, but like I do think a team thing would be pretty Pretty cool. That's why I said. That's why I said like soccer. That's why I said.
Imagine how much more you'd appreciate that gold medal if it was individual. Like that's coming from you, all that work and everything you did. I get the team thing, super fun and all that, but like to go on now represent your country in individual sport, it's super hard, man. It's a lot of pressure on you. Why? You can't blame anybody else. Right? Olympic basketball, they could point fingers. Oh, it wasn't me. I didn't get enough playing time. Coach made the wrong call. But let's say you're wrestling, man. You're one-on-one with that guy, and yo, who's the better wrestler, bro? Who's the faster swimmer?
It's all up to you.
You know what I mean? Like that. It is what it is. You can't point fingers and blame anybody but yourself.
Yeah, there's a. I mean, to
drop the mic on that.
There's a lot I would do. I think they're all kind of cool, honestly.
All right. Well, I think that's pretty much a good place to land it. Shout out to y'all. Thank y'all for checking us out, listening to us. Like I said, we're watching the numbers go up and up. We appreciate all the follows. Jojo, tell them where they can follow the show.
Follow us on Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, Spotify, all the good stuff. Real Fans Podcast. Let's get it.
Again, we appreciate y'all coming out, checking us out. Thank y'all. We'll be back next week.
Real Fans Podcast.
Sports. Real Fans Podcast. Peace.
Peace.